Welcome back to the 94S turbo build and trying to work out what went wrong last time. So here's a link to the last video where I started out going through a load of stuff on the electrics and got into detail there, and that was the bit I was most worried about, but everything seems to be going okay, and then after that everything quite quickly fell apart. So petrol, not very much, but I stuck some petrol in it, and when I turned the key and the fuel pump started working, it started coming out of the back, so there's that to address. Then there was the coolant. This was the most spectacular piece of failure from last time. Basically the homemade DIY 3D printed water inlet just didn't work, and water did this. Then we had the oil. Oil leaks thankfully just seem to be limited to where things weren't tightened up properly, but oil is going in and then is coming out. The good thing is with the oil, it's going around the system. So the upside is where it's leaking is telling me that the oil is in all the different parts of the engine it's supposed to be in, and that my little take-off thing to the oil coil at the front is actually working. So I've actually addressed a few of these problems, so we'll start by just having a look at the fuel. Fuel pump was weeping a bit here, but that just needed new washers around the banjo. Basically for the fuel filter, this was leaking from the top and turned out to be quite simple. It's just this section here has a little recessed washer, and I've got the wrong one, swapped it out and we were good. So that's hopefully the fuel leak problem fixed for good, and the oil leaks, I've been around and tightened everything up, so hopefully that is now good to go. The water pump will come back to, I'm waiting for something to come through on that, so I'll show you the water inlet design, so I'll show you that. The other big problem obviously was the fact that it wasn't even starting, so even with all of this going on with fluids coming out, and I've owned old cars, I own old cars, so I'm quite used to that, is the ECU I think is wrong. But I don't want to get into messing around with that. I'd rather just get what I know is a good config, so I'm currently waiting, trying to be patient because COVID, for DPD to deliver my new ECU, and I'm pinning a lot of hopes on that at the moment. Right, the moment I've been waiting for over 10 days now. Yeah, pretty much 2 weeks bang on. So this is the AEB ECU. I wasn't being completely dense because the AGU one was supposed to work. The battery is disconnected. This has been supplied from Poland. Basically it was about £100 for the ECU that had been de-immobilised, so it should just be ready to go. It's not as advanced as the AGU one, but in theory it should work. So the fact that it's the right one is obviously an added benefit over anything else. And let me just get this plugged in, battery on, and then have a look, make sure there's nothing nefarious happening, and then we can try and start. This ECU that I waited 10 days for actually seems to be doing less than the wrong one. So when I turn the ignition on, it just goes, and I can hear the stepper motor running. I can't hear anything else. I can't hear the fuel pump priming. I can't hear anything from the injectors, and certainly for the coils as well, which is a bit of a pain. It just comes up with a ROM error code, which isn't necessarily a fatal thing for this or these, but anyway, that's a bit annoying. What I did do as well was actually just swap out the I didn't swap out, I just plugged in the original throttle body to make sure that everything was fine there. That made no difference. I've been through and disconnected anything. I'll put a link below into Chris Fix's video on how to go and troubleshoot a car that won't start. That's something that I followed, and it has actually been pretty helpful. The other thing I did do was, I mean, this ECU, all the ECUs have been plugged in and swapped out and everything, is I've also been back through and done the continuity testing, which I showed previously, and I've done that from the power all the way through to the points that it's supposed to be receiving power, and I've then gone back through and also done the pins off of the ECU back to the various points that they're supposed to be connecting. And let's go around the other side and I'll just kind of show you where, before we go over there, the other thing was with the the AGU ECU, I just basically unbolted the fuel rail. So because there's fuel pressure in there, I generally unbolt it a little bit, pull it off to make sure I'm not going to do it all the way, and then just relieve some pressure and let the any fuel that's going to spray down, and then pulled that off. Just put some towel underneath to catch any leaks in between the injectors and the intake manifold, and then just turned it briefly, and you can just kind of see blue spots on the thing, but all this stuff's covered in the video I'm going to link below. So yeah, over there. I think I pinpointed the problem down to the spark side. So this is a spark plug tester. Essentially what you do is unplug the coil. Essentially this goes into the coil as if it was the spark plug, and that goes over the top of the spark plug as if it was the coil. This is the power stage, or ICM I think it's called. Essentially the way that it works is it takes a signal in with an earth, does some shenanigans, and then sends a signal out for the coil packs to do their business and send the spark to the engine. What I'm going to do is have a look at the coil pack upgrade. So this is going from the original AEB coils to the newer, fancier TSI R8 ones. This has been driving me nuts for weeks now, ever since I first tried to start it, since I've had the second ECU delivered. They're both behaving in a very similar way, and it's just driving me mental that I can't figure it out. I think I'm finally there, and I think the reason, if I'm right, is so stupid. I'm going to say it again. I think I've got it. I think I've worked out where I've been stupid. So the theory behind shortening this was that, and I may, to be honest, I may have been correct, but where I had all this extra cable, is this loses amperage. As it goes along, there's an amps drop every however far, and you know that's going to be well over 2 meters there, so there would have been a drop. Whether that's done it or not, I don't know. But, and again, this is me sitting down and just having thought popped into my head. So essentially I've got all of this running off of the switch supply, which is essentially, I'm taking one of the trigger signals off of one of the existing relays. And it then occurred to me that, have I taken it off the right one? Just because it works when the power comes on. So what I think is happening, is ridiculous, is the feed that I've taken it off, when the starter is turned, when the starter is triggered, it's one of the things that shuts off. Because of the power droid, not everything runs when the starter runs. So I've got a horrible feeling that for the last couple of weeks, everything's come on, I've gone to turn the starter, and then because of the trigger that it's on, it shut everything down. So it shut the coils down, it shut the injectors down at the point at which the car is trying to start. And then when I release it, it comes back on. So It's getting a bit late, but I just have to know because this would be so stupid. So let me just check this now. Hope the engine's not flooded, but let's see if we can get some kind of spark out of this, because it was... I'm unbelievably happy that this is running, rough as it is, like a bag of spanners, but it's really running. And I'm being very British and not outwardly, or English and not outwardly overexcited, so let's have Ryan Gosling in The Big Short in a bathroom explaining exactly how I'm feeling inside right now.
Object to the tits!
So yeah, this is amazing. Anyone that's been following this could have put money on this being something stupid that I've done, but anyway. But yeah, who'd have guessed, just running that, this could have been 2-3 weeks ago and we could have started. So yeah, essentially every time I was turning the key, it was just shutting down the power to most of the things that need to happen to make this work. So whew, yeah, very rough. I can go through, I'll run it again when I'm not going to poison myself, and yeah, just get stuff started. But we've now got combustion and I can start thinking about all this. I'll run through and do the coils upgrade separately. That may or may not be in the video. Yeah, so I've done the coil upgrade and then took it off to go back to the original. That's kind of working. I still need to sort out the coolant side of things, so we're not home yet, but that's the other reason I really want to run the engine for long. But anyway, videos to be made, things to get out. I will hopefully see you soon with some other shenanigans, but for now, success, the startings of success, and yeah, we're away. Cool. Till next time.